Hello, my name is Jordan Knight, and this is my opening opposition argument. Resolve. Sugary drinks should not be sold in primary and secondary schools. The staggering increases in childhood obesity have caused many people to wonder what circumstances have changed in the lives of children today compared to those of the past. It has been concluded that children who eat more empty calories and expend fewer calories through physical activity are more likely to become obese than other children. This conclusion is supported with a positive correlation between the television viewing of children and childhood obesity. Before I delve into the idea of what the main causes of obesity are, let us look first at what obesity actually is. Obesity, according to the National Institute of Health, is defined in terms of body mass index, or BMI. BMI is a person's weight in kilograms divided by the height in meters squared. For a person to be considered obese, he or she must have a BMI of at least 30 or more. From 1971 to 1974, the obesity rate among children in the United States was a mere 5%. However, from 1999 to 2002, the obesity rate tripled to 15%. So what is it that has changed over the past 40 years to have caused such a rise in childhood obesity? Starting from the early 1970s, the so-called nuclear family has been disappearing at an increasing rate. As statistics have shown, the amount of single-parent mothers through the United States have increased into the early 2000s, and maternal employment has risen from 30% in 1975 to 55% in 2003. Children are no longer exposed to the same home-cooked meals as often as the previous generation are, and forced to consume both school-made lunches and rely on pre-made meals for dinner. As the blame for childhood obesity shifted away from parents, the next step was to find out why exactly children were being exposed to the outside of the home that may be causing the increase in obesity. Many people blame the efforts of bottling companies and the fast food industry for the prevalent obesity among children. After all, according to the Journal of the American Dietetic Association, the average consumption of soda increased 50%, from 14 to 21 ounces, which occurred within the years of 1977 to 1998, which correlates with the increases in obesity. In an effort to prevent children from consuming these sugary drinks and other fatty materials, school districts across the country have been abandoning these so-called pouring contracts in an effort to get soda out of schools. In 2006, it was reported by the FDA that 73% of high schools, 58% of middle schools, and 42% of elementary schools had these pouring contracts. Following the Commercial Free Act in 1999, districts such as the San Francisco Board of Education passed legislation that prohibited schools from entering into district-wide contracts with soft drink or food companies. In 2006, the Center for Commercial Free Education has reported that upwards of 30 school districts have refused contracts with soft drink companies. However, could these bans of pouring contracts be doing more harm than good? Before we delve into the effects of pouring contracts, we should take a look at what pouring contracts are and what their effects are in the field of education. According to New York University professor and nutrition expert Marion Nessel, pouring contracts are large payments from soft drink companies to schools or school districts in return for the right to sell that company's products, and only these products. While these pouring contracts may seem harmless and straightforward, they have been blamed to contribute to the $56 billion in indirect costs, that is, lost wages, disability, premature death, related to the diet-related health outcomes or diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, and cancer that obese children along with these obese adults face every year. However, while these sugary drinks may play a minor role in the obesity spikes of children, it seems that the real culprit is the lack of exercise of students in primary and secondary schools. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, only approximately 29% of students are meeting the 1 hour of exercise a day quota to help ensure the steady progression of health. While these sugary drinks may be damaging, the proceeds made by schools from the sales of these products help with the funding of physical education programs. Michael C. Beretta, the communications director for the Center for Consumer Freedom, a nonprofit organization that represents restaurants and food companies, has stated, and I quote, "The irony is that most of the money from these contracts helps pay for after-school programs and sports, things that arguably do more to prevent obesity than soda bans. It seems that the best way for the nation to combat child obesity is to not abandon these pouring contracts, but to make them stricter in an effort to make the importance of physical education more ubiquitous among primary and secondary school students.